Your journey toward deeper understanding, gentler living, and purposeful becoming starts right here on Mocha at Marchelle's. Welcome back to Mocha at Marchelle's, where we pour the real conversations about life, family, and the lessons that keep shaping us. Motherhood doesn't always look the way we imagined it would. Sometimes it happens under a microscope. In my case, court documents, reports, opinions, all reminding you that someone's watching. And in the middle of all that, you start performing, or at least I did. Performing to prove you're doing it right. Performing to show you're holding it all together. Performing because if you stop too long, you're afraid the whole thing might fall apart. But somewhere between the checklists and expectations, I realized I wasn't being a mother. I was just doing motherhood. And there's a difference. So welcome back to Mocha at Marchelle's, where we pour the real conversations about life, family, and the lessons that keep shaping us. I'm your host, Stavonne Marchelle. And today, we're talking about a transformation that happened quietly in the middle of chaos, the moment I stopped performing motherhood and started becoming a mother. So there was a season, and if I'm completely honest, not too long ago, when I did motherhood like it was a job description. I'm talking PTA meetings, I was there. Fundraisers, bake sales, school plays, you name it, I signed up. I thought that being involved meant being enough. And part of that came from the fact that during the season, my life was being looked at through a magnifying glass. I had court watching me. I had professionals evaluating me. I had my own inner critic whispering that every move mattered. And so I performed for the teachers, the judges, the paperwork, the world. I thought if I could just check every box, I could prove that I was okay, that my family was okay. And what I didn't realize was that all that performing was costing me presence. I wasn't feeling the moments, I was curating them. And motherhood isn't meant to be a performance. It's meant to be experienced. When you spend enough time doing motherhood, you forget what it feels like to simply be with your kids, to laugh, to learn, to discover them in the quiet parts of the day. This episode of Mocha at Marchelle's is brought to you by SMB Professional Services, where excellence meets empathy. Whether you're buying, selling, or building a legacy through real estate, my team and I help families move with clarity, confidence, and care. Because just like in motherhood, success isn't about rushing the process. It's about building something that lasts. Visit www.stavonneb.kw.com or email me at stavonneb@kw.com to start your next chapter. So back to it. There came a point when life slowed me down, not because I wanted it to, but because it had to. I was required to take parenting classes. And at first, I'll be honest with you, here I am, the lady that watches Super Nanny for fun. I walked in feeling resistant, thinking, I don't even belong here. These people's stories are not my stories. I'm completely different. I was sitting there with my notebook, defensive but polite, waiting for it to all be over. And then one day, the instructor, this calm, wise woman, shared something that shifted everything. She said her son had taken his life. The room felt completely silent, and in that moment, Every wall I had built inside just cracked. I wasn't thinking about the court paperwork anymore. I wasn't thinking about the weight of parenthood, the fragility of love, and the humility of realizing that we're all trying to do our best. That's what I thought of. That moment humbled me. It stripped away the pride and the performing and left me with something raw and real. Perspective. And right there, in what I call the valley of life, I made a decision. If I was going to be here, I wasn't going to sit in pity. I was going to mine the valley. Because valleys aren't punishments. They're classrooms. They hold lessons wrapped in discomfort, lessons you can't learn from the mountaintop. Mocha at Marchelle's is supported by Our Family Store, our family's way of sharing a little comfort with yours. From wellness favorites to everyday essentials that make home life a little easier. Our Family Store is where family-minded meets everyday joy. You can follow us on Instagram at Our Family Store 2025 and use code JOIN10 for 10% off your first order. Because even in the valley, we all deserve a little comfort. Part of my growth came through co-parenting, and not the easy kind. By that time, so I'd already removed myself from the relationship, but our connection remained through the girls. Their father, my ex, was someone they loved deeply, but he was walking through this heavy fog of alcoholism. And that reality was just painful to watch. Because as a mother, you want to protect your children from pain. And as a woman, you grieve what could have been. But I had to remind myself, he's still their father. He's still someone they love. So I learned to parent through compassion, not control. I couldn't change his journey, but I could shape mine. And my girls were watching me choose grace when it was easier to choose resentment, watching me keep boundaries without bitterness, watching me model respect, even when things were hard. That's when I understood something powerful. Love and accountability can coexist. You can protect your children's hearts without poisoning them against their parent. And in that quiet, I found another jewel in the valley. Empathy. Empathy for him, empathy for them, and even for myself. Healing doesn't always look like reconciliation. Sometimes it looks like peace from a distance, and that's okay. When it's time to move in life or on the road, choose Lux Life Transportation Services. Reliable, professional, and designed for comfort, Lux Life offers the kind of service that turns every trip into an experience. Because whether it's motherhood or mobility, how you move matters. Travel in comfort, live in luxury. That's Lux Life Transportation. So out of all this came something I didn't expect. Peace. A quieter, slower kind of motherhood. One that didn't ask me to perform, but to be. I started listening, not just hearing my girls, but listening to who they were becoming, learning their personalities, their humor, their fears, their joys. I learned to pause, to look up from the checklist and actually see them. Not the grades, not the sports schedules, but them. And that's when the metamorphosis began to bloom. Because the truth is, you can't rush transformation. It happens one choice at a time, one small act of presence after another. Being a mother stopped meaning doing everything. It started meaning being here, right now, in the mess, in the magic, in the moments that don't make the highlight reel. And as I look back, I realize that valley didn't break me. It built me. It taught me compassion, gratitude, hope, and resilience. And it reminded me that being is the most beautiful part of becoming. So thank you for sharing this moment with me today. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another mom who might be walking through her own valley. Someone who's learning that presence matters more than perfection. Stay connected with me through SMB Professional Services for your real estate and legacy goals, Our Family Store for family-centered finds, and Lux Life Transportation Services for life's little luxuries. You can always find me on Instagram at @stavonne.smb_real-estate. Until next time, keep mining your valleys, and remember, being is the most beautiful part of becoming. You've been listening to Mocha at Marchelle's, where conversations meet clarity and growth becomes a lifestyle. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who would love these conversations too. Your support helps this community grow and keeps these conversations flowing. I'm Stavonne Marchelle, and until next time, keep showing up, keep learning, and keep becoming.